there, toy collector friends and DC fans alike, particularly fans of DC's Batman, particularly still fans of the 1960s iteration of Batman as it appeared on the TV. I'm the time-travelling toy collector. Welcome back to the channel, and this time we're looking at the Eaglemoss Batman Automobilia collection. In particular, this beautiful iteration of the 1960s Batmobile as it appears here with its own little diorama set in the Batcave. Now, you may have seen my previous entry into this particular video series, which was the 1989 Batman movie Batmobile, as featuring in the 1989 Michael Keaton film that is hopefully making a resurgence in the Flash movie imminently. This is a different phase of the Bat history, and again, it's one of the 85 or so vehicles that were released as part of the Batman Automobilia collection by our friends at Eaglemoss, and the majority of these are beautifully detailed, beautifully put together pieces of work, usually, although I will point out in advance, not exclusively, with something of a nifty diorama to surround it and give it that nice framing so that you can display these pieces really, really well. Now, as a heads up, these have been on display for a while. When I took the lid off to prepare for this video, I was aware, and I don't know how this has happened, but I'm livid about it. But you might see one of the police light aspect that you can see there. Just there's still got the case, so I'm going to take it off in a second there. So if you look next to that, there should be two of those little pylons near where that other underneath handle is. It's still in there. It's actually sitting inside the car, so I won't tip it too much because I don't want to lose it. It's sitting inside the car, so I haven't lost it, but for some reason it'd come off, so I don't know what had caused that. But it does speak to the fragility of some of these vehicles and some of these models, because they are not designed as toys. They are designed very much as display models. But I really I love them so much, and I think most of them are really good for what they are, that I wanted to start sharing them with you. And it was one of the first things I put on my Instagram back when I first started doing all of this, and it did attract quite a bit of interest and people asking questions about the whole range. So I thought all I'll do is I'll just sort of set up a playlist and on occasion pop in one of these. I am looking to probably relocate this collection because it takes up quite a bit of space. So I strongly suspect you'll see a few of these coming over the next few weeks and probably months as I try and tidy up my display spaces to make room for some newer collectibles. But anyway, let me pop this down here and take off this case as I've done previously. I'm just going to slip out. I'm not too worried about that. I see in there. This is the lenticular, the backdrop, and again you can see it, they're going for that ever so slightly 3D element, the lenticular stuff, the lenticular design, so you can see that it's I'll shine the light on it that way, you can see how that works. But it's essentially the Batcave as it appeared in the 1960s TV show, and again it works very well. We don't get any figures. We got a sort of standalone figure with the Batmobile in the very first release, but with this one, where perhaps the figures they realized the figures were slightly too complex, because there's quite diverse brightness of colors, particularly in Robin's outfit, for example. They've chosen to not go that route, so instead they've given us some Bat computers and a Bat well, I don't really know, a Bat radar thing, but the Bat computers mainly. But the focal point of this really, and I think again we need to be aware, the focal point of this collection are the vehicles, not the figures, but we'll come back to that in the future. I'm just trying to see whether some of these spots are in fact, because only when you're close up do they sort of show up on the camera, but I just wanted to make sure they weren't sort of paint issues, and as I'm wiping it, I'm pleased to note that they're not, which is a relief. But again, I think this is a beautiful rendition, a beautiful rendition of the 1960s Batmobile. You can see there, it's pinned to the base, so it's not going to fall off, but I don't want to turn it upside down in case my an extra piece that is sitting inside the car goes missing completely, because I might try to repair it. Although these do crop up at conventions or online, people are selling them occasionally. They go for upwards of about a tenner, so there you go. I originally, as I'm sure many of you did, had the corgi version of this when it first came out and played it to pieces. In the original corgi version, you could press this here and it would release the blade that would be concealed at the front, and you could also fire rockets out of that thing at the back there, those 3 upward prongs. This is a beautifully, lovingly recreated piece. I love the lights on the front, the detailing, the red piping detailing on the front there, which is really beautifully pulled out. On the wheels, you can see the bat insignia in the middle of the hubcaps, which is beautiful to see. From the top looking down, the detailing on the rear of the vehicle is beautiful. That sort of cockpit is, well, the cockpit really is beautifully pulled out. You've got plastic where you need it. The detail inside there, I'll show you some of the detail inside there. You can see the steering column, bit of action on the dashboard, not as detailed as the actual vehicle was, but that would probably be impossible at this scale, to be perfectly honest. There's some more interior detailing there. You can see the bat phone, some other bits and pieces, and you can see the insignia on the back of the chairs there, fire extinguisher. I mean, they've really gone to town with the details in this particular model. So you can see, yeah, the silver in the back of the seating compartment there, and as we come around to the back, we can see those beautifully sculpted wings. We can see the bat brakes, which is the wonderful parachutes that are tucked away either side of the main booster there, and of course we have the main booster there. There's also, I'm hoping you can see it there, Bat 1 Gotham City. So that's the license plate there, which I'm hoping you can read, which is a lovely attention to detail. Come around to this side of the vehicle, ignore the very hollow computers, shock. You've got the antenna there at the back, and as with the other products, it is, as I said, screwed in from the base. But again, I think this is a beautiful piece of work. Yes, some of the detailing in the cockpit is a shame that it's not as detailed, but by the same token, it's a display piece, and I do like how it comes with its, oops, as I knock the camera flying, I do like how it comes with its own little diorama, which is something, you know, I think a lot of toy manufacturers now, or model makers, almost miss the opportunity to fully embrace, because you know, it gives added value to the product, I would say, and it's a real quality. It just gives an extra sense of quality and value for money that I think we run the risk of missing otherwise. As I mentioned, some of these do crop up intermittently at conventions. They do crop up intermittently online, so on the secondary market. Not always exorbitantly priced, although some, which I'm going to guess this one is one of, the slightly rarer, hard to get hold of models will presumably attract a slightly higher price point, but that's to be expected, I think, on the secondary market. And if they're in good condition and you really want one, then fair's fair, you're probably going to go for it, and I wouldn't blame you at all. There's been lots of iterations of this. As I say, I had the corgi version. I had it as part of the set. I remember it beautifully with the bat boat and the bat copter. Lost to time now, of course, but to be fair, I managed to reclaim them through this range, because they did produce the bat boat and the bat copter further down the line, so I will be bringing those in for a video at some point in the future. But I just really wanted to sort of get these out, share them with you, because as a collection, I think it was one of the first sort of by post collections that I'd done well, and they're few and far between anyway, because I don't really do that. So the first Batmobile, which was, as I say, the 1989 Batmobile, was bought for me as a present. And this was the second one. As I said in the last video, I'm not going to do them in actual release order, although I have done so far, but moving forwards, they'll be sort of grouped together, or, well, I may or may not release the videos that way, but the way I've displayed them, I display them not in the order they were purchased or released, but I bought them, I displayed them in genres, so like movie Batmobiles, TV Bat vehicles, the villains vehicles, flying vehicles, etc, etc, bat bikes and similar. So all of that's to come. I will take you through all of those if that's something that you might find interesting. I hope you have. I hope you've enjoyed having a little look at this nostalgic vehicle, this nostalgic collector's piece. I'll probably swoon over it a little more. I'll take a few photos to incorporate into the back end of the video, but they do make for some really nice photographic model pieces as well. And you can unscrew them and use them independently of their bases. That's entirely at your discretion. For me, however, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep them as they are. Well, I hope this has been interesting. If it has, do hit the like button. Whilst you're doing that, please subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future video. You can see from having a little shifty around, there's quite a diverse array of things here to have a look at, and there'll be even more diverse stuff coming in the future. But for now, thanks for spending the last 15 or so minutes with me. I've been the time traveling toy collector. You have been a wonderful audience, so thank you for spending time with me. This has been the Eaglemoss classic Batmobile from the TV series of the 1960s. And all it remains for me to say is thanks so much for spending time with me. Take care of yourselves. Do remember that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. And I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Bye-bye for now.